appreciate the fighting style of Lyoto Machida.
No kidding. Yes, a lot of people don't appreciate the karate point-scoring system of Lyoto Machida.
I don't mind that system with Lyoto Machida, and it was hard in that fight. It seems like almost any other fighter could have stolen that decision, but Dan Henderson was only loading up that right. He seems like a smarter fighter. Seems like a guy that should have been able to steal that fight the way Machida was fighting that night, and he just wasn't able to do it. So yeah, I don't care that that's your fighting style, because a lot of other guys will make you pay. John Jones will make him pay if all he does is pitter-patter around and try to throw point kicks. He's going to pay, and he's going to pay dearly. So I get it, you've got a strategy. I'm not going to be mad at him for his style, because that is his style, and Joe Rogan was clear there. I don't have to like it, and I'm upset that, Dan Henderson wasn't able to pull the trigger. This guy has been in cage show for over a year, and age is certainly not on his side.
No, it's not. But I didn't think he looked like out of shape or tired or anything like that.
How do you know? Neither of them really did a whole lot.
It wasn't boring. It was a terrible fight. I'm not trying to
Triumph MMA had more going on in the first 60 seconds, every class, that happened in that entire fight. See?
At the end of a 2-hour class, I assure you there's more than 70 punches thrown in that class, for sure. Uriah Faber gets back on track against Ivan Benjamin with an awesome standing rear naked choke with a body lock, which is always fun to see. And my favorite part about any time a guy does this is when they have a body lock, they obviously can't immediately release, so they have to celebrate on your back.
He held his arm up. This guy, I beat him. Like he's a trophy.
He's literally a stepping stone, right? I mean, you're standing on top of this guy. It's
Well, that shows the sportsmanship in MMA too, because once you lose, you can conceivably just drop that guy. Right, it's nice enough to hold him on. So celebrated.
The aftermath of that is that Demetrius Johnson is injured, so he is out of the fight with John Dodson. Dodson obviously going to wait for that fight, so they have replaced it with Uriah Faber against Scott Jorgensen, which is a fight I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, you know what? That was a fight I've been wanting to see back when Uriah had the belt in WEC, and Scott was making his way up, and then, they merged with the UFC, and I've always wanted to see this match, so I'm kind of glad it's happening.
And Sean, here's what's fascinating about Faber. He is 6-0 in his last non-title fights, 5-0, I'm sorry, 0-5 in his last title fight.
Yeah.
That's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Maybe Kenny Florian should have some kind of club. Yeah. I bet every day he and Kenny Florian go to Toys R Us, they stand in that aisle, and they just lift up those little WWE belts and hand them to each other.
Yes.
Just to feel a little bit better.
Remember when? And then
The last 10 minutes of their day.
Kicking off the main card, for those of you who dislike Josh Koscheck, which seems to be a lot of people, very excited to see the return of Robbie Lawler to the UFC by a KO of Josh Koscheck.
Okay, I have a question. No, I'm going to ask you, Sean. I know you don't really like him. That was still an early stoppage.
You know what? It was a bit early, but Koscheck was looking like an idiot, looking up, getting his head, tagging away. He was moving, he was trying to do something, but he was getting punched by Robbie Lawler.
Come on, you guys know that I love to deal in facts. Factually speaking, I think it was a tad early. However, the other fact that you're not necessarily giving homage to is the fact that you cannot, under any circumstances, let Robbie Lawler touch your chin. You just can't do it.
Again and again.
But that was it, though. Again and again, I mean, if we want to look at this realistically and with the facts, look at that sequence, he landed 2 punches.
No, there was one good power, and then there was 2 that
We're getting off M6. Going southbound on 131.
Here in segment 1, that's totally fine, because I just want to point out, when I watch things like the
Going towards Kalamazoo
on the undercard,
That's why I don't watch the undercards.
Where Bryce, it was an awesome fight, but Bryce took an insane amount of damage. That he was out on his feet like 5 different times. So, I would like to see some sort of a balance. Sure, it was a little.
Okay, if I was repping the Koscheck fight, I would have let Lawler probably punch Koscheck maybe 20 more times to make sure there's not 20, okay, 18, and make sure that this was a knockout.
To be fair, though,
100%.
I think Koscheck's one of those guys, and I know he's not a champion. He's been in those fights sometimes. He's a guy you've got to give a little room, and I don't think he was given the room he would deserve to have in that fight.
I don't disagree with you. Again, the aftermath of that fight I find very interesting. If you look at the UFC rankings this week, Robbie Lawler rockets into the top 10, but doesn't rocket above Josh Koscheck, which I thought was really interesting.
Early stoppage. He looked pretty good, but we didn't get to see him finish. call the segment now if you want.
Going to. All right, when we come back, segment 2, we are going to go to Japan and talk about Brian Stann and Vanderlei Silva and see what that's going to be all about. Brian Stann making his return to 205. Hasn't been there since 2010, so this will be interesting. He says it's one and done, but as anyone who knows how age has a factor on you, that might not be a fact. We'll be back. Way of the Warrior.
So, you tell me that you care about...
Welcome to Bonefish Grill.
And that's why I never use a red pen. The clock hits 5, which means one thing. Boss mandated fun. But tonight, we're at Bonefish Grill, so things are looking up. Our server appears promptly with a white tuna sashimi for $9.50. Lightly blackened albacore with wasabi. All so delectable, Sheila from accounting actually cracks a smile. I dive into a blood orange martini, overcome with deliciousness and hints of fresh lime. I could kiss the newly happy Sheila, but I won't. HR is 2 seats down. My thoughts are interrupted by the arrival of Redfish Romesco. With a red hazelnut sauce inspired by Spain, it's more delightful than the surprise of enjoying each other's company.
For a limited time, enjoy our Ocean Mix Grill dinner for 2, featuring 4 delicious catches, including sea bass, shrimp, and scallops, 2 salads, and freshly made sides for just $19.90 a person.
And I thought I was the perfect catch. Bonefish Grill. Happiness here.
In Grand Rapids, on East Paris, just south of Cascade Road. Visit bonefishgrill.com for the location nearest you.
When it comes to commercial roofing, nobody does it better than Bloom Roofing Systems. For over 30 years, they've been serving all of West Michigan and more, providing superior customer service and even working with some of the best in the area, including the Gerald R. Ford Museum and the Meyer headquarters. Visit their website today at bloomroofing.com. That's BLOOM roofing.com to learn more about their exceptional services. Bloom Roofing does commercial roofing repair, maintenance, service, and construction. They truly do it all when it comes to roofing. At Bloom Roofing, they provide tailored commercial roofing systems, engineered and designed specific to each roof. And there are dedicated safety managers on every job site. They're a year-round, full-time roofing staff dedicated to comprehensive customer support and the highest quality workmanship. Visit bloomroofing.com today to learn more about what Bloom can do for your business. That's bloomroofing.com.
At Advanced Auto Parts, we don't just sell parts. Oh, no. We get you the part you need. Lickety-split. Our knowledgeable team members will do the legwork, arm work, or torso work, whatever it takes, to make sure you don't just get a part, you get the right part. Fast. Plus, now, get up to $30 back by mail when you buy Wagner Thermo Quiet brake pads. Service is our best part. At Advanced Auto Parts. See store for details. Mail-in rebate. Void where prohibited.
SVP and Brusillo. Scott Van Pelt. One big thing.
New York Daily News reports that Darrelle Revis, his agents, and the New York Jets brass, including their owner and their new GM, at the Combine were just a quarter of a mile apart, different hotel complexes or whatever else, but they didn't get together. They haven't talked. And it's big news in New York because Revis who could be a free agent at the end of next year, would like to sort out another deal. He's done a lot of that, hasn't he?
Yeah, this will be the 3rd time.
You know what? I got a deal. You know what I'd love? In the middle, halfway through my deal, new deal. But just sort of play out our deals different.
Those are terrible first half.
That's true. Just keep on paying me every couple weeks. The point is that he's got a deal. He'd like a new deal, and the Jets and their new GM apparently didn't talk to him when they were at the Combine. What is a bigger question mark and curiosity to me is apparently since the new GM Idzik took over, they haven't talked to Revis at all.
One pass to
and the fact that
West Michigan Auto Auction.
I don't see as a gigantic deal because they were so close and they didn't talk. You know, if you have a phone, you can talk to somebody anytime you want. So the idea that they didn't meet up, I don't find as some big deal. It wasn't like they went there to see each other and didn't hang out. What is a bigger question mark to me is just this. If you're the Jets and you're a non-factor in power rankings, the hierarchy of who's who and what's what, can you truly afford to have the amount of money tied up in one position player that Darrelle Revis commands? And looking at that further, are you really prepared to make him, the highest paid player in the game and further hamstring a team that's already got cap issues? I say no.
His